So you go up, and Erika puts her hand on the back of your head. What do I do? Do I go like this? Imagine that video going viral. You can't. You have to be like, okay. That's weird. Awesome. Next. I know I'm going to have a conversation with my wife afterwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nissim Black Show. My greatest honor, my greatest pleasure is to be here and to serve all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I want to discuss something that is a little hard for me to discuss. It's Erika, Kirk, the whole JD Vance thing. It's gotten so out of control. All of it's gotten so out of control. And I'm letting you know, like, I'm not really biased in the situation because I understand where people are coming from. And what I'm talking about is this hug that happened at one of the TP USA events. And a lot of people have gone crazy with it. And one of the reasons why I want to address it is because I have got some comments, oh, but look at Erika this and that, and whatever the case is. And I want to state a few things, right? So I want to show you guys what pictures we're talking about, obviously, before we even discuss this. So there's this picture that's been going around. This is one of the initial pictures of them standing there. A lot of people have AI'd this picture. I think this is the actual picture, okay? I have verified it. And then there was a hug that took place between them, which was this one. And a lot of people have been commenting on, why is her head and his hair like that, the whole everything. And that I understand. I'm not going to say, one of the things I have seen from this is just sort of, altogether, she seems to be emotionally grieving and hugging. And she's been hugging not only with Vice President Vance, but with other people as well. But, this other picture that has been floating around, however, has been a picture of her hugging Vance. And then others are claiming that this is her hugging Usha Vance, which is the wife of JD Vance. Now, I've looked around to see if I can verify if whether or not this picture is actually true. I'm not, or a truthful picture if it's real, I'm sorry. I seen it floating around. Somebody's passing it around on Facebook. I have not been able to verify from another angle if it's true or not. I can't tell. But all I do know is that, I understand some of the outrage from people, right? And I understand it in the sense that it would bother me. It probably would bother my wife as well if I ever, I don't hug women that are not my wife or my daughter or my sister, whatever. Religiously, we try to put up those boundaries, which is what this show is about today anyway. I want to talk to us all about boundaries that we should actually have so we don't end up in these type of things. A person, especially for people who call themselves believers or people that are trying to serve God, people of faith, there's no way in the world that we should ever get this close to people or to even be put in a situation to where we would even have this happen. Now, my honest opinion about this is I don't think it's that far. And I think furthermore for myself, if I'm just being honest with myself, after looking at this hug and hearing what Erika have to play, before I play the PBD clip, I actually want to play Erika herself addressing what actually took place when she hugged the vice president. I think it's so important not to take these things out of context. I want to show all of you guys what actually took place so you can see it yourself and then hear what she has to say, because I want to hear from you guys if you think that she's genuine or not. Nothing about me thinks that she's covering or hiding anything like that. Just watch it for yourself, see how she answers it, and then let me know what you think.
Forgive me, did you see people didn't understand the hug that you and JD had? They went to the weirdest places, Erika.
Oh my gosh. You guys, please. So for those of you who know me, I hug is
yes,
like.
You're an intense hugger, it's awesome.
Whoever is like hating on a hug needs a hug themselves. I will give you a free hug anytime you want a hug. My love language is touch, if you will. But seriously, that hug. So I will give you a play-by-play. Walking, they just played the emotional video. I'm walking over, he's walking over, I'm starting to cry. He says, he's so proud of you. And I say, God bless you. And I touch the back of his head. Anyone who I've hugged that I have touched the back of your head when I hug you, I always say, God bless you. That's just me. If you want to take that out of context, go right ahead. Again, that to me shows that you need a hug more than anyone else.
Yeah, so from that alone, nothing about me feels like this is ill play or anything like that. I understand where people were coming from, but I think some of it's been taken out of context. And I think a lot of people actually saw the picture, but they didn't watch the video. Wait, before you get back to the show, I just want to let you know that we have launched Nissim Black Store. All you have to do is go online, order yourself one of these amazing mugs, God is King, with a matching t-shirt. We have a whole plethora of different shirts that are all about representing God wherever you go. As believers in the one true God of Israel, it is our duty not to hide, not to back down, not to shy away from expressing our faith wherever it is that we go. If you want to go and walk righteously before your God with a nice t-shirt, with a nice sweater, with a mug that's reminding us constantly that God is here with us, go to nissimblack.store and make sure you get yourself some merch. It really helps support this channel and everything that we're doing and everything that we plan to do. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. I thank you all for all of your support. Okay, back to the show. Many other people have said many different things. I want to run with you guys through this clip from Patrick Bet-David. It is a very, very awesome clip. I'm talking about this clip for me. It took me through the moon. Now, there's going to be a difference of opinions on how to receive this. A lot of people saying now because of that, there's Vance is, facing issues with his wife, or he's leaving his wife for Erika. She said to President Vance, Vice President Vance, that you remind me of Charlie and all that. And I think a lot of this is just tabloids. I'm being honest with you. I really think a lot of this is tabloids. Do I think the hug was too much? Yes. Do I think that it was on purpose or that it's indicative of some type of relationship that's not in front of? I don't put it past politicians and people in that world. I don't. But in this particular case, I really don't. I really don't believe that of Erika. I don't believe that's who she is. I don't even believe that that's who President Vance, Vice President Vance, I keep saying President Vance, Vice President Vance. I don't think that's who he is. But anyway, I want you to see this clip from PBD. I want to run through this with all of you guys because it is so valuable, the way that they dissect the situation, and I have to take my hat off. The yarmulke stays on, but I'm take my hat off to PBD because I really think he handled this like world class, just world class.
I have a different opinion on maybe their closeness, Erika, Kirk, and JD Vance. At the end of the day, I assume they're just friends. And what do I mean by that? So last night, I don't want to name names, I had dinner with one of my best friends. His wife is also one of my best friends. Like, that's how close we are. To tell you that I've danced with her in a club, lifted her up, it's friendship. It's nothing more than that. And my friend knows that.
And I love Adam. I do love Adam. I like Adam a lot. I mean, I agree with him probably more than not, okay, with a lot of things. This one I don't agree with Adam on. Like I said, like Adam, I don't agree with him on this. And I think that some of it is that there's a lot of people, that's not him. And from this, I'm able to conclude from this that he is single. There's a lot of people who are single. There are a lot of people who have never really been in a strong, deep, loving relationship with another person. So they don't really necessarily know what it feels like to have that other loved one and to be protective of that relationship. You understand? So that, that feeling of, I don't want to say jealousy, but it's a protective feeling. And jealousy is not even 100% wrong because that's the feelings that God gave us. God, after all, is a jealous God. When it comes to these particular things, it's okay to be jealous about those things. To be jealous of somebody else's other thing, that's a time not to use that trait. But when it comes to your spouse, your significant other, that is a time to exercise that jealousy and to be protective of that relationship. So a lot of people who are either young, newlyweds, never been in those type of relationships, genuinely seem to have these quote unquote platonic relationships with the opposite sex. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous. But hear the rest of this clip.
How we've been friends for 20 years. So I'm not saying that they've been friends for 20 years. So I don't look at it just because she gave him a hug and touched the back of his head, that it's that flirtatious or that bad. My opinion, I could be wrong.
I agree with that. I do agree that that is not particularly what's going on here in this particular case, although I still would argue that it was too much. And this is why people are saying it's too much. And quite honestly, I'm surprised at the world that we still got enough morals to recognize that something like that was too much.
Wrong. I don't see any salacious, weird things going on here. Could be wrong, But in my opinion, that's friends, that's affection, that's pain, that's grieving. That's just a bond that they have.
Did you
My
wait?
opinion.
You were dancing with your friend's wife at a club, like dancing with her. Did you do like the dirty dancing, like you picked her up and held her, like that type of dancing?
And I
Like I need to know what were you?
How did we get here?
By the
I
way,
think this
what I'm
is a
saying
hit.
is,
Let me-
you
let
don't
me
think you
just-
can be friends with a friend's
Let me
wife
just
and
put
not
it.
have.
No, you can't.
You can't be friends with a
Zero.
friend's wife.
Like hang
Zero.
out with
I
her
can't.
without him there?
no,
can't.
not hang. What?
No.
Zero. You can't. That's it.
So that's
zero.
where you draw the line.
Thank you, PBD. Please shut it down for everybody. You can't. You can't. And I'm going to let him keep talking.
You
No,
can't be friends with your
you-
friend's wife.
Listen, his wife is my sister.
I know.
No, wait a minute. She's my sister. But there is nothing I can do that is more than just a sister that's going to make Tom even 1% uncomfortable. If there's a risk, if I ever meet your girl, the day you get married, you will see how I'm going to be to your wife. I'm going to look at your wife like my daughter or my sister, period. I ran a business for the longest time, and there was a lot of knuckleheads who followed your rule. We're just friends. No, not under my watch.
And people have to understand that the whole just friends, oh, we're just coworkers and whatever. Most cases of infidelity happen with people that you know, or people that other people know. Of course, you're not people doing that. But I'm saying that most of the time these cases happen, and it always starts with people thinking, oh, me, I'm not like that. I would never do that. That's just my friend, that whole everything like that. It's baloney. It is baloney. No person ever knows themselves until they're put into a situation where they're tempted with something and they're in unfamiliar, uncharted territories. They've never been there before, right? They've never been there before. He's going to go on to talk about this in the deep, and I think a lot of us can actually relate. But I think that there's a powerful, powerful lesson in this that we're learning, even off this other situation of where I don't feel that that's exactly what was going on there. However, there are things, a lot of hugs like that, and then it could lead to other things. Listen to PBD.
I've never been a fan, ever been a fan. I want Rob to come with his wife to any of the parties I put together and have nothing to worry about. If he gets a 5% fear that somebody did something with his wife, I am a horrible enemy if you do something like that. I don't play those games. I don't like it. I don't think it's appropriate. And I think it's basic protocol and etiquette. There's certain etiquette. Now, you grew up in Miami. Don't get me wrong. I understand the party life. I was in it for a long time. And then I stepped away. And there was a lot of stupid things we did as young men. I'm not going to sit here and act like we walked on water and we didn't do anything dumb. Trust me, there's a lot of stories of what we did. But there came a moment where I said, nope, not playing these games. Anything that happens here, I'm treating her that way. And I told everyone, look how many of our guys in our company, how many divorces do you hear about in our company?
Not many.
We don't play around with stuff like this. Every one of our guys in our company, they're my daughters or my sisters. That's how I look at them. And those husbands love this approach. And they will never in their mind ever even have a thought that anybody can have anything around us with them. If it happens, I can't control it. When I'm
This is so important. It is so important for us to. You have to put up these boundaries. You have to look at the world that way. Yeah, it is as an inevitable. We are human beings, and human nature would dictate that put in a press situation or any type of situation that over a long period of time that you could possibly, step out on your marriage, God forbid. A person should never put themselves in that type of challenge. You should never put yourself up against it. I tell married couples, newlyweds, don't hang out so much with your single friends, especially by the men. They ain't going to understand why she's calling you so much, why you have to be there right now, why you need to be available. They won't understand. Why would they not understand? Because they're not married and they're used to a single life. They're used to telling you about how beautiful this one looked or how fine this girl looked or how fine. And why even be in a situation where you're having conversations like that? It should feel uncomfortable for you. So even them, I'm not saying you have to completely negate and get rid of your friends, but you're going to have to limit that time of hanging around people who cannot share in the same, they can't relate to being married. having somebody to go home to and to be respectful of somebody else's space or that other person being in your space, and people that don't understand that could drive you away from being a good spouse. This is like I'm just so refreshed to hear this.
Not there. But I lean towards this mindset. You can call it the mob mindset. You can call it the mafia, whatever you want to. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. To me, it's just a very man's protective mindset that I have, that this is the approach we take. And long term, if I'm a gambling man and I have to choose between these two mindsets, I'm putting my entire life savings on this side with this mindset. That's where I'm putting my life savings. And I'm going to raise my girls for hopefully be that way. And I'm going to raise my boys to also be that way, because God knows all our kids are going to be tempted to do some stupid things just like we were tempted to do as well.
It's called morals, called morality. This is basic morality. It's basic morality. And I had to share this clip because so many people have it mistaken that, oh no, it'll never happen to me. It only happens to the people that say it'll never happen to me. That's the only people it happens to. Because anybody who's smart enough to know that they have the possibility, or they have the inclination to do things, right, that may be against even their will, right? Any person that knows that, they ain't gonna put themselves in that situation. So I'm telling you, almost the majority of the cases are all the people who said, I would never do anything like that.
Give you a little bit of credence here. A lot of what you're saying is your business model. I'm not saying everything.
It's not credence. I'm not looking for credence.
No, I'm just saying why I understand your perspective here. You built your company off couples. So you need to set boundaries very clear.
This is not what it is, Adam.
But what do you...
This is not about a business model, buddy.
This is life. This is beyond.
This is not business model. This is life.
Okay.
This is how I am with everything in this area. If that's your girl, I have a basic rule. No one's going to touch your girl. No one's going to do anything to her. This is my way of doing things. My way of doing things. It doesn't matter what it is.
I get it.
When one day you get a wife, you're going to feel very comfortable with me being around your wife. And you will sit there and say, if your wife ever wants to talk about, hey, Pat, what do you think about me and Adam, stuff like this? I remember one time something happened. I'll tell the story and I'll just move on to the next thing. One of the guys that, are, one of my first guys who does very well financially, very smart guy, very talented guy. Early on in his career, he went through a nasty divorce. And a wife messaged me afterwards on Instagram and text. And I got a bunch of messages. Hey, would love to get on a call with you and would love to talk to you and all this other stuff. Do you know how many times I got on the phone with her? Because I think it's fair for you to hear both sides of the story. How many times do you think I got on the phone with her?
Probably zero.
Why do you think that is?
You don't want to hear your side of the story.
I'm not the guy that says I'm friends with everybody. The guy was my number one.
Of course.
He is the relationship with me. I didn't have a relationship with the wife. She wanted to give me. There is no reason for you and I to speak.
And by the way, that's one of the biggest traps, right? Even if people are good intended on both sides, the moment you're playing, captain hero and you want to help out, the other couple, or in this case, it's even crazier because it's after a divorce. Why would she be calling him to tell him the side of the story? It's no need. It's no need. Once you become that person, that friend, always trying to help, and every time, she's calling and all that, it's undoubtedly that, especially if you're talking about relationships with a person of the opposite sex, and you're a normal person, so you're naturally attracted to the opposite sex. Any normal person in that type of situation is going to start catching feelings for the other person, no matter how close or friendly that you may even be. You're going to naturally. You have to have boundaries. I mean, I'm so impressed with PBD. I am so impressed with this man. Just the whole entire approach is the right one.
I don't need to hear your side of the story. Marriage is tough. It's difficult. You guys didn't make it work. I am not trying to dump on it. It's very, very hard to make a marriage work. You move on. These are very sensitive topics in life. When later on things happen, you ask yourself, what kind of kids do you want to raise? What kind of values you want to build it on? These are some of the things you got to be thinking about. And by the way, I see you with your friends, and I see how you guys are together. I see it. and it's great. But I don't know what it is to be in that community in Miami, grown up in that. I don't know if that wiring would have worked with me. If I walked up with my girlfriend and he saw my girlfriend, you're too friendly with my girlfriend, you're not my friend. You can't be my friend if you're too friendly with my girlfriend.
Believe me, I'm with you on that. But also, some onus is on the girl.
Oh, no, you're right. No. By the way, that part I'm with.
Okay.
But let's just say, you don't think girls have tried, you don't think married women have given me their key cards to go upstairs?
Yeah, I know.
What do you think's happened with me? You don't think I go to events and like, hey, man, and the line is always the same thing. You know, I wish my husband was more like you. He's just so lazy. He doesn't do this. You know, would you mind? Here's my key card.
You inspire me.
What kind
You're
of
a
weird
leader.
things you
Any person that's been successful, that has been in positions of power and different, these things, they happen. They genuinely happen. And it's a reality. Wait till you see. I want you to hear what PBD says, what boundaries he puts in place. I put in these same type of boundaries. You have to listen to what I say. For all you young and simple and sorry, not simple, but single people out there listening to this, and I married people also too, married men, I encourage you, I don't care how long you've been married, to listen to the wisdom and the diamonds that are being dropped right here. If you want to stay married, and if you want to keep your marriage a happy marriage.
think happens when you're
Yeah.
now? And by the way, again, I'm not saying this to put myself on here that in the future I'm not going to make a mistake. I don't want that unnecessary type of pressure. This is why I travel in threes with men. This is wherever I go with Vinny or Tom or you or Mario or other people, because I don't want to go places by myself. I have a rule of not having certain things I follow. I don't even want to get off topic here because we got a lot of other things to
No, I think this
get
is
into.
very much on topic. Because
Yeah.
circling back here, I don't see JD doing anything out of the ordinary. That's
This
my
isn't on
opinion.
JD. I'm not
Yeah.
putting this on JD. Because so for example, imagine I'm role playing, Vinny, you're thinking about it, Tom. So you go up and Erika puts her hand on the back of your head. What do I do? Do I go like this? Imagine that video going viral. You can't. You have to be like,
Okay.
that's weird. Awesome. Next. I know I'm going to have a conversation with my wife
I opt for a wave. You could just wave.
afterwards.
We also
Right?
don't know what it's like to be Erika Kirk at this point.
That's
a lot
why
of
I
people
said
are
I
making
don't know. I'm
assumptions
not-
about
I'm
her.
not saying I
she's
know.
grieving. And a lot of people think that she's up to weird things. I think she genuinely loved her husband, lost her father of her children, and she's dealing with it. And we have no clue the trauma.
I agree with that, but both things could be true. I agree with that 100%. Nothing crazy going on or anything like that. I don't believe that about Erika. I think she is just she's a powerhouse of a woman and a woman. And who knows, if I didn't watch the whole thing, emotion said I have to see it, if the hand went up or how it went up. Sometimes could have been an accident, could have been just emotionally not thinking about it. And I don't 100% understand that world. It's been a long time since I've even so much as touched a woman that was not my wife or my daughter or whatever. It's been many years since that's happened. So I can't even put myself into a role play. However, what I can tell you though, is that this is a matter where both things could be true at the same time. And that's why I thought it was important to play this clip. I'm gonna let it continue until the end, but there's so many gems for us to take out of this and how much we need to be careful and to value our boundaries in order to value our marriages.
That she's dealing with.
Nobody
at
is
this point.
saying that.
No,
No,
I'm saying
yeah.
that.
You know
Nobody's
what?
saying-
Real men help her. Real men put boundaries up to help her from any weakness she may have. That's what a real man does. That's what a protector of a family and community does. You set boundaries up so in their pain, they can't get past the boundary.
Yeah.
You help them. And then you whisper to your own wife, you need to reach out to her because she needs a woman in her ear to give her the kind of guidance.
Yeah, look,
That is so, oh my goodness. Where would we be if so many, even spiritual leaders, trying to help young women all the time, you know? As one rabbi was saying that, it just, whenever they have these big Shabbats, he said, these teen organizations and different things like that. He says, why, a lot of these rabbis, a lot of time, they're sitting around talking to why the pretty girls are the ones that we talking to late, right? And you see that. Why is the pastor or why the pretty girls always get all the extra attention? You understand? Send your wife. Send your wife. I generally believe that. Any person involved in outreach or anything of that, you need to be a couple doing it. Needs to be a couple doing it. Send your wife. Or if you speak to them with everybody around. You have to put up boundaries. Why talking to this? This happens a lot in when it comes to spiritual leaders. Now, whatever the faith or religion is, it doesn't matter what it is. But that is like the prime place where people can easily be taken advantage of. And so if you speak in public where everybody can see, where everybody don't go talking and counseling and doing all that other stuff. You have to put up boundaries. And in most cases, send your wife. Have your wife talk to them.
For us on the back end, we contributed from our side. We've contributed to the organization. We contributed to her directly with the family and the kids, stuff that we did. No, we are for the Kirk family.
For sure.
Those kids, Charlie's kids, always can call me and get anything. I'm going to go out of my way to help those two guys, the kids that they have. Because to me, that's how special of a guy he was. I was a very, very big fan of Charlie.
And this just I can't say enough for how powerful this piece was, and for us to know that things could get out of hand. As I said, I don't think anything like that of JD or Erika. However, I understand where people are coming from at the same time. I understand how, even especially in the world of the internet, of how people would take it that way, especially when you have right now, both on the right and on the left, JD Vance, the Trump administration has enemies. So people will milk this 100%. If you watch the rest of that podcast on PBD, actually, I think Tom had actually went on to say that a lot of people are milking this whole entire situation, a hog, to turn JD's wife against him, just to make noise, right? Because 2028, he's already the front runner for 2028. So of course, all this drama is going to come. That's where I think it's coming from. But a valuable lesson on how to set up boundaries, and how important it is to put boundaries up for all of us in order to protect our marriage. I want to hear from you guys if you guys are just as excited about this clip as I was. If you have a different perspective, I want to hear it. Please leave it in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video, especially if you got value out of it. Share it to other people. That's what we want to do, is provide value here on this channel. And make sure that you serve God or live trying. I'm out. I don't have to tell you that in our fast-paced lives, we rarely stop to just breathe, to reconnect ourselves with Hashem and with our purpose. And that's why I'm really excited to tell you about Kavana, an incredible new app that helps bring mindfulness and Jewish spirituality into everyday life. It's filled with guided meditations, music, sleep stories, quick 1-minute pauses, and daily inspiration, all designed to help you live with more Kavana, with more intention, more presence, and more meaning. And right here on the Kavana app, I'll be releasing a brand new guided Heat Bodhidut series, a powerful journey into personal prayer and connection with the Creator. So go download the Kavana app today, sign up, and join me for the course.